And so there's always room to improve and to grow. But the question is, are you wanting to? And are you willing to do some of the hard work in the leadership development realm so you can actually continue to evolve and to let that impact continue to outgrow you? Welcome to the It Matters podcast. I'm your host, Walter Perez, and let's dive in as we help you grow your mindset and elevate your leadership. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the It Matters podcast. I'm so glad you're joining me on another episode. How are you doing? You know, depending on where you live and kind of the season of life you're in, summer is probably coming to an end, and the tempo of your or the rhythms of your life are about to change going into the fall, whether you have kids at school or maybe this is the busy season. Maybe for those of you who are in church organizations, that tends to have a different rhythm in the church life, or in business. Maybe everybody's getting out of vacation mode, and there's just potentially a new season around the corner. And so I wanted to chat about a couple of things here, because I've been thinking about this word effectiveness, and I think that it's crucial and it's super ultra important for a leader to really understand how effective they're being, because effectiveness is actually the possible way that we can measure our impact and how we're actually carrying on the mission. And so, have you asked yourself lately, how effective are you being? Is that something that you think about? Is that something that maybe puts you down because you do think about it and you feel like there's some things missing in your life? There's some gaps in your leadership, and you're thinking, I do want to be more effective. I am being effective, and I want to keep up that tempo. Like, I am consciously and mindfully about what it takes to be an effective leader. And so around here, we want to talk about things that matter. And definitely this question has come to mind because I think all of us need to pause and really think about that, especially if you're going through a tough season, a good season, there's change coming around the corner, whatever it is, this question is always going to matter. And so I wanted to give you some thoughts and maybe some pointers or things to think about, to reevaluate and to really focus on, so you can continue on a good path, or at least then, if you're not, change and get on the effective pathway. And so as leaders, that is one thing that we need to be very mindful of. And if we're not, so I want to maybe start by saying that if we're not being as effective as we think we should be, well, we're going to be capping our organizations. We're going to be capping our own lives. We're going to be capping people around us, because we're not performing, or we're not leading at a level that we should be leading. And maybe some of you feel like you've hit a ceiling a little bit, and you feel like, okay, well, I think I've already reached my max, or I don't know how to evolve. I don't know how to get better. Well, you might feel like that, but that doesn't mean that you can't get better. Even if you got a degree better tomorrow or today, that will change how you lead and how people respond to you, and how your companies and organizations respond to you. And so there's always room to improve and to grow. But the question is, are you wanting to? And are you willing to do some of the hard work in the leadership development realm so you can actually continue to evolve and to let that impact continue to outgrow you? And so here, I want you to think about this, and maybe you're going to ask yourself some questions today. And I think I got about 5 questions that I want to propose to you today, okay? The first question is one that I love to talk about a lot, because I think it's important in the life of a leader. And that is, are you aware of where your vision is at? Are you a leader of vision? This is super important, guys, because if we're going to lead in any capacity, well, part of leadership is leading forward, right? It's taking people from here to there, moving the company or the organizations we work in forward into a new season, a new world, a new way of thinking, whatever it is, an innovation, creativity, whatever it is. But we got to have vision, because if you don't, how do you know where you're going? How are you supposed to make plans? How are you supposed to make goals? How are you supposed to execute all that so you can start seeing the needle move and you can start seeing some traction and you can start actually moving forward? So, how are you in the vision aspect of things? Do you have some vision? And if you don't, pause and think about your scenario, think about your situation, and start putting some pen to paper and going, okay, this is where I want to see myself in the next month. This is where I want to see myself in the next quarter, 6 months, in the next year, and go bigger than that, next 5 years, next 10 years. And you're allowed to pivot along the way, but you need to have at least a target to be aiming for. Okay, so that's question one. Are you aware of where your vision is at? The second one would be, are you aware of your current situation, your reality? So, for example, you have vision for your life, you have vision for your teams or your organizations, but do you have a reality check on what you're able to do, what you're capable of doing? Are you able to take this group of people? Are you able to take this team to where the vision is calling you to? Do you have the ability to pause right now and do a reality check and have an honest conversation with yourself and saying, okay, this is where I'm at, and this is what I am lacking, this is what I'm needing, this is what I need to do to, create the environment that will make me a more effective leader? The first question, the first question is important about vision, but the second question is important to know where you sit in that. Now, dreams need to make you a little bit uncomfortable. Vision can make you a little bit uncomfortable because then it opens the door and it invites you to stretch. It invites you to become better. And so you don't have to feel in this current moment that you have it all together. But what you do have to know is, are you willing to go figure it out? Are you willing to go do the things that are going to matter to make you that leader that is worthy of bringing people into this vision? So, when was the last time you stopped and checked yourself right now in this season? Forget about what happened yesterday. Forget about what may or may not happen tomorrow. But just right now, what do you need to do? What do you need to change? What do you need to apply? What do you need to act on to become that leader that is worth following and that people want to engage with and say, okay, I'm going to get behind that? Okay, so that's question number two. So my third question would be, are you aware of your weaknesses? What are your weaknesses? This is super important, guys, because sometimes as leaders, we like to maybe cover up our weaknesses. We like to kind of hide and not let people in. We think that because we're leaders, we need to elevate, and we need to always show strength, or we always need to show that we're perfect, or that we're always have things together. But you know what I've come to learn over time in leadership is that especially when we're leading a group of people, before we even admit or before we come clean and tell them what we think our weaknesses are, they already kind of know. Because when people work with you, they get to see how you manage your time, how you make decisions, how you communicate, how you lead in good times and in bad times. And so your weaknesses come out. And sometimes one of the biggest weaknesses of a leader is not being self-aware of the things that are not working for them. And so I think that if we're going to be an effective leader, outside of having vision for our lives and our organizations, and having a reality check and knowing where we're at and who we are, we need to know our weaknesses, because that is going to allow us to know what gaps need to be filled. That is going to allow us to have an honest conversation and say, okay, well, I am the leader, so now I have to figure out how to bring on the proper team that's going to help me push this forward. So knowing your weaknesses is great, man. Maybe one practical thing that you can do is you have a few people that are close to you. You might have a team, you might have some really close friends, you might even have some good family members that are close to you that you trust, that you can go to and say, hey, I need some feedback. And over the years, over the time, over over the way I've worked or led certain projects, can you tell me what you think some of my weaknesses might be? Now, this is not a time or a place to get offended or to push back, to get angry. No, no, no. This is just an opportunity for you to hear some feedback, and it might actually connect with you, and you'll say, oh, that makes a little bit more sense, and allows you to be aware of where your weaknesses are if you're missing the boat on that, and allowing some people to speak into your life and to give you feedback. We're not talking about criticism. We're talking about some feedback into your life that will make you better. So think about that if you need some help on that area, in that area, so that people can speak into your life, and then you can get better from there. So then that leads me into my next question then. Are you aware? You need to be aware of your strength. Do you know what your strengths are? So you're aware of your weaknesses, but that doesn't mean that you're a total mess. You actually do have some skill sets. You do have some qualities, and you do have some strengths that actually are yours, that are personalized to you, and that you're really good at. And sometimes we just kind of do life on autopilot. We're just kind of, coast through life, and we're not aware of these critical moments and these critical things in our lives. And so we don't know how to adapt or how to build on it. See, if you know your weaknesses, well, then you can start bringing people to help you with that. You can cut certain things off. You don't have to focus on that. But if you know some strengths, you can build on it. You can continue to fan the flame. You can continue to pour into it, and you can continue to build on it so you can become better along the way. So what are your strengths? The same advice from before, practical advice, is you could ask somebody else what they think your strengths are. People that are close to you, people that know you, people that work close to you. But another practical thing that I would do is I read a book a long time ago called The StrengthsFinder. And it's written by Tom Roth. And it's a book that I recommend. It's a very detailed book. You have to answer a number of questions. It's an assessment, a strength assessment. And when you go through that, it's going to give you your top, if I remember correctly, your top 5 strengths. The cool thing about this book, if you buy the book, it actually walks you through what kind of person or what kind of leader you're going to be with that strength, and who do you work well with, and maybe some weaknesses to be aware of within that strength. So if you've never read that book, if you've never done that assessment, if you're in a situation where you don't really know or understand what your strengths are, I would encourage you to start there. Go buy the book, invest in yourself, and go find out a few things about yourself so that you can build from there, so you can continue to grow from there. And so StrengthsFinder, great book. I totally recommend it, and I don't believe it'll be a waste of your time or money. In fact, it's going to make you a more effective leader, and it's going to make you a better person overall. Okay, so we've talked about having vision. We talked about having a reality check and awareness of where we're at, what we're capable and not capable of doing. We talked about knowing your weaknesses. We've talked about knowing your strengths. Then my final point would be know who is around you. Be aware of the people around you. Be aware of your team members. Be aware of your teammates, the people that are there to support you. As leaders, if we're going to be effective, if we're going to be leaders that actually excel and maximize and unleash potential, we're going to have to bring on a team. We've talked about this over and over before, but I have to continue hitting it home because we need to start taking it seriously. Leaders are the most effective when they're leading in a team, when they have people following them, when they have people behind them, when they're building people up, and when they're creating more leaders. That is the magic of leadership. And so be aware of the people that are going to step into your weaknesses. Be aware of the people that are going to fan the flame of your strengths. Be aware of the people that know you, trust you, and want to be honest with you and give you true feedback. And don't just want to fluff it up or hide it or just be nice to you because they're scared of you or afraid of you. Don't create that type of culture. Know the people and serve your people. You do the mission and the vision so much. You can do so much for it by inviting the right people into it and serving your people so that they can build the business, so that they can build the project, so they can build the overall mission and vision of whatever you're working on. So I want to encourage you. You want to be an effective leader. There's so much that we can talk about being an effective leader. So many things that you want to consider and work on for sure. But today we want to get practical. We want to start somewhere. You might have some of these questions figured out, some of these thoughts already kind of figured out, but then focus on the one that you need more work on. So do you know your vision? Have you written it down? Do you understand where you're going? And then have a reality check of who you are today. Are you where you need to be? Do you know how you're going to move that vision forward? Do you know what you need to do? Have that honest conversation so you can move forward. Then ask yourself, okay, what are my weaknesses? Where are my weaknesses at, and what do I need to do to then strengthen that, or to at least fill in the gap? What are your strengths? What are some of the things that you're super good at, and what are the number one or two things that you need to be focused on that's going to help build whatever you're building? And then what are the or who are the people around you that you need to invite into this vision, and you need to pour into, that you need to continue to evolve and continue to serve, because that's what's super important. Being an effective leader is something that you should know and you should have on top of your mind. And the way that you become effective is by growing your leadership skills. The way that you don't cap people, the way that you don't create ceilings for people, is by being aware of how effective you want to be and how effective you need to be, and then go develop yourself so that you can keep up with that, and you can continue to be not only effective, but even burst out of that effectiveness and be the best version of yourself and the best that you can be for everybody. We want to be effective, and that's one way that we can measure that, at least the beginning or the starting point for that. I hope this makes sense. I hope this encourages you. I hope this invites you to continue to hunger to be better, because that's what we're trying to be, who we're trying to be, and that's what we're trying to do around here. When we talk about things that matter, this is what we're talking about. As leaders, as people, we all have opportunities, and some of us may feel dissatisfied with where we're at, and maybe some of us are feeling like there's a pull happening, and it comes down to this question: am I being effective? Am I effective? How can I get more effective? Try these thoughts, try these ideas, and see if you can get better just a little bit more today, so that you can continue to impact and continue to grow as a leader. So I appreciate all of you. Thank you for joining. Please comment, ask questions. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know how this is helping you and why these thoughts are making you a better leader. Because we know, right? What we like to say around here, it is a win-win when the leader leads well, and we want to continue on that path so we can be better and others can be better. All right. That's it for now. We'll catch you in the next episode. Bye for now.